Hi, I'm Luann from Rockin Book Reviews, and I'm so happy to be here today with David Miles. David, you are a mystery on the internet. so
That's
please
true.
share with us a little bit about yourself, namely where you grew up, how many siblings, and activities you enjoyed as a child, and so forth.
Yeah, so I grew up in Pennsylvania, about 2 hours west of Philadelphia. So kind of in that little Amish area close to Gettysburg and just south of York.
Oh, I love that area.
It's beautiful. I miss it a lot. I live in California now, and people say I'm a green snob. So there you go. I really miss the East. I have six siblings, so five brothers and one sister. One of those brothers is a twin brother, and that was a lot of fun growing up that way. Yeah,
How
and
fun.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I went to school at BYU in Utah, and then I ended up living here in California. So
So, did you live among the Amish? I mean, were they your neighbors?
no, they were probably about 45 minutes away,
Oh,
but we grew over in
I love driving
beautiful.
through that area.
It's
Never
gorgeous.
spent
It's
time
absolutely
there,
gorgeous.
but
Yeah, yeah.
okay, reflect over your life and share a couple of experiences or situations that has had an impact on you.
I would say I would probably point to two things that really shaped kind of my worldview and my life. The first would be growing up in such a large family. And my twin brother is actually autistic, so that was that really changed me a lot growing up. I think makes you think differently about people and about their needs and their perspectives. And then just growing with lots of siblings and parents, it was wild and crazy and fun, and I think it always gave me a love for kids and books. You know, books were a big part of our family growing up. We'd get together on Sunday nights, and Mom would read chapters from The Hobbit or the Ralph Moody books, and we'd pop a bunch of popcorn and just sit and listen to her. And so that was a big part about my life growing up. And then I say the second thing that really changed me is I was a missionary in Thailand, and so I lived there for a couple of years in Bangkok, and then in the northeastern part, and just being with those wonderful people was really life changing, and realizing where happiness really comes from. You know, that it doesn't take much, and it really changes your perspective on things. So I'd say those were the biggest influences on me so far to date.
That reminds me of when we spent 2 years in the Philippines, and
Oh, no way. Yeah.
same situation. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're not grumbly, they're not unhappy, they accept their situation and they want better, but it's just amazing. I realize we don't know poverty in the United States
Yeah.
as they do in other
Yeah.
countries.
It's true,
And
and always so friendly, so giving. I remember just walking past a couple of homes, and there's a family out front on their porch, and they're having dinner. Oh, come over, come eat with us. You know, I thought, man, you'd never do that in the United States. I kind of wish we could have some of that hospitality and warmth and just trust. You know,
well,
come
they'll
back
make sure
to
you eat when they don't eat themselves.
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
Total unselfishness. And I'm with you. That was
yeah,
really, I've heard about it, I've seen it on the news, but I never really knew it until I lived among them and experienced it.
yeah. Absolutely.
I can understand that. And
Yeah.
I was raised with a lot of cousins with large families, but there was only three of us siblings and we were quite spaced apart. I determined that I was going to have a large family because they had
I
so
figured that
much
before.
money.
Yeah.
And I did. I had 8 children. So
Did you really? Well, good for you. How many boys? How many girls?
5 girls and 3 boys.
There you
I
go.
tell her
Yep.
every day my 3 boys put more gray hairs in my head than my 5 girls did.
Well, I think my mom would probably say that the one girl did the same than the 6 boys, but
And my
there you
daughter
go.
says that with hers. I think it's a lot different when there's, because she's got 5 boys and 1 girl. And
Okay, yeah.
I think that makes a difference when you're the only girl having to fight your way through all those
I think
boys.
so. She put up with a lot from us, that's for sure. Yeah.
But anyhow, so it sounds fun. I can totally relate to how important those
Yeah,
experiences were in your life.
absolutely.
Okay, and your occupation is books in
It
capital
is.
letters. Explain a little bit more detail how books is your life.
Pretty much, yeah. So I got into publishing my senior year of high school. I used to volunteer at our local library there in Shrewsbury, and I would, most people want to run the front desk because it's more fun, right? You get to interact with the people that come into the library, the patrons, and the last thing anyone wants to do is go shelve books, but we all take turns. So I take the shelving cart out, and my favorite section to do was the children's section. I take this big cart full of all the returned children's books, and then I go through and you slot them back in where they go. And in the course of that, I kept coming across these books that had been written by kids. And I thought, like, how did kids get these children's books published? And it turns out that it was by a contest that was run by Landmark House. They're not around anymore, but they used to run a contest for kids where you could write and illustrate your own children's book, submit it, and then if you won, you got a publishing contract. And they'd publish your book.
Oh,
And
neat.
they'd sell it to schools. Yeah, and they've been doing it since the 80s, I think. So a long history there. And so I decided to enter my senior year of high school. So I was in the older age bracket. And I happened to win, so I had the experience of writing a book and working with an editor and fighting about rhyme and rhythm and all those things that you do in publishing.
How exciting.
It was really fun. It was the most fun I'd ever had. And so I went to college and I served my mission and I came back and I ended up going into business. But when the chance came for interning at a publishing company, I jumped at that and then I ended up becoming partners there, and I've just been around there ever since. And so now my job is acquiring books and talking with authors, and then of course writing a few of my own books as well. So it's
What
not my
did you
book, someone else's.
graduate from college in? What was your degree?
Business management.
Oh, business. So you're basically in the same type.
Yeah, so it was kind of my hobbies were all right-brain art, and my major was all left-brain business, and publishing brings them all together. So it's been a nice.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, okay, and you enjoy trips to Yosemite and the Central Coast, and your favorite shawarma
Shawarma, yes.
restaurant. What kind of restaurant is that? I can't even pronounce it.
Oh, shawarma. So it's like kebab meat that's been grilled, and they slice it up and serve it with pita and hummus and often like a garlic sauce. It's really good. It was the first meal I had when I moved here, and I've liked it ever since. So
where does that name come from?
I don't know. I think it was an Armenian family that ran the restaurant. So it's one kind of Middle Eastern food.
Okay, because that was a total new one to me.
So there you go.
Okay, and your illustrator is Natalie Hoops. How did you become acquainted with her?
Let's see. She interned with us early on at Familius as a cover illustrator. And she had done a really good job. And then when I wrote this book for our company, and we were looking at trying to find an illustrator, I thought, Natalie did a really good job with some of those covers, and she has a really soft palette, soft style. So I reached out to her and said, hey, would you like to illustrate this book for us? And she was thrilled. She hadn't done one before, and ended up working really well. We both went to BYU, and so it just turned out really fantastic. She did a great job.
So I was wondering, because I noticed that she went to BYU. I thought maybe you'd met her at school. So.
Yeah, well, I guess I didn't meet her at school, but she came through a kind of a BYU internship program that we started with our company. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And what impressed you more about her illustrations? Why did you want them in your books?
I would say it was the detail. She does really fine pen details. And then she also has this really nice color palette that it's not overly bright. It's not real saturated. That makes it kind of feel like it was too digital or something. And it's not real dark or gothic. It's just very nice. And it feels she does all her work with watercolors and pen and ink, and so it feels very crafted. And there's a lot of a lot of children's books today. The artwork is digital, which is good. It's a good medium, and it works really well for a lot of books. But when you're doing a book about a book, right, and about this traditional medium, you kind of want something that has that tactile, real art feel to it. And so she was a good fit for that.
Okay, and what goals would you like to accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years?
The next 5 to 10 years, I would love for Familius, our publishing company, I would love for that to keep growing. I would love for it to really find its place in the publishing industry. We're on our way, and it's done quite well. And in fact, this year we were just listed as one of the fastest growing publishers in the United States, which is really exciting for us. I would love that trend to continue, and I just keep working hard, keep making more books, and hoping that it'll happen.
I've been impressed with your company.
Well, thank you. That's nice coming from you. I appreciate that.
And I will do my best to promote Familius. For those who aren't familiar, can you spell it and tell them where to look for it, and tell us a little bit about it real quick?
Yeah, I've often thought we probably picked the worst name in terms of spelling for this company, but it's spelled Famililius, and you can find us at familius.com. And we specialize in books that help families be happy. So a lot of children's books, board books, novelty books, parenting, self-help, cookbooks, things of that nature. So if it's something that you could give to a family and you think it would enhance their family experience, that's something that we'd be interested in.
Do you think in the future you'll have adult books as well?
Yeah, so we have some adult nonfiction. At some point, we'd like to probably start a fiction imprint. And
that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I noticed that you have some self-help books. And like you said, parenting, but I was wondering, you've got so many wonderful children's fiction books.
Yeah. I really do love children's. It's, when I think about family and I think about those family experiences that shape you, that build relationships. One of the ones that comes, to my mind immediately is that bedtime book. You're sitting there and it's warm and it's cozy and you just share that magical time together. And so I've always loved children's books, and I feel like they have a real place in the family experience.
Has your family experiences growing up had any influence on your writing children's books?
I'm sure it has. Yeah, I'm sure it has. I think, but I've always loved children's books. Even when I was in college, when I had a really big test to study for, and I had to motivate myself to do it, I would go into the children's book section of our library. I get a big stack of books, and then I would study. I go through my flashcards or my notes for the test. And then if I got through, say, 2 pages worth, then I would let myself go read a children's book, and then I put it aside, and then I go back to my notes and I grind through some more material for my next test.
Well, they're colorful, they're simple, and they're fun.
And they are, and they stimulate creativity. So I think children's books, they take a lot of work to take these concepts and boil them down into 32 pages. They're actually quite challenging, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, that's been my biggest negative on any children's writer, is because some writers can't seem to get it minimalized in a simple form. They have these beautiful pictures, but the writing is too intense for a little child.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I think that's a challenge that many writers face.
Or trying to do too much in a book. It's almost like taking a feature film and trying to boil it down into a Pixar short. Right. It's almost a similar sort of process. Yeah.
Do you see yourself writing young adult fiction?
Probably not. I probably don't have the patience, to be honest, to write a book that long. So I tend to be a little ADD, and so I think I'll stick with the shorter formats.
Well, is there any final words you'd like to make before we close?
No, just thank you. I appreciate the time and I appreciate your interest in us and all that we're doing. And I'm thrilled that you had 8 kids. That's awesome. So let's hear it for family. That's great.
I understand you have a print copy you're offering for a giveaway for our viewers. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. So I'll send you a picture that you can post. It's called Well, in fact, you can choose from multiple books, but since we talked about book today, we'll give you a copy of book, and has those beautiful illustrations that Natalie Hoops did, and a beautiful book. Starts black and white, pulls people in with the text, and then gradually brings them through as the book becomes color, and ends with this beautiful setting, free of this collection of books. So I think it'll be a nice one for book lovers everywhere.
That sounds exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll close for now. And
thank you, Leanne.
Thank you again, David Miles. And we want to remind all of our viewers to study the universe through books. Bye-bye.
That's right. Bye-bye.